As we're into draft right now, there is still a lot to be decided in this group because the other two teams will play tomorrow with FlyQuest playing Dignitas. But what we do know is that if 100 Thieves win, they will be clinching top 2 within the group.
Okay.
So that will be the most important thing. It gets really crazy if Shopify wins because it would mean they're not 4th, but it could also still mean they're 4th or 3rd or somewhere else.
Okay.
Everything is a possibility depending on if some crazy stuff ended up happening tomorrow. So Shopify, just win and hope, and 100 Thieves, just win and you're in.
I think generally that's the goal for teams, is if you win, it gets easier for your playoff chances. Losing makes that a little harder. But game number 1, we're into pick and ban, so let's catch up on what we see on the screen so far. Ari plus Sejuani plus Jace banned away on Shopify's side. Vi, Varus, and I'm waiting on that last one because there's one specific pick that they always seem to ban in the first rotation.
Is it
it's
named Rumble?
Still up. I was actually going to play a little game with you and say you used to do Jatt stats. Well, I got a little stat for you. What's the one champion that Snipers never played this year?
Rumble.
It's Rumble. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, this was pretty common knowledge within the larger LTA ecosystem is that 100 Thieves, typically, this was actually set on pros by Isles the other week, who's a support for Dignitas, that even in scrims, 100 Thieves will ban Rumble.
Yeah.
Just themselves, because they don't play it, they don't play against it. But in this situation, they have finally left it open. It had been something that they had banned 100% of the games this split so far.
Wow.
So this is a bit of a change. Either they disrespect Fudge's Rumble. He's played it 3 times so far this year.
Second most played, I believe.
Won 2 of the games. And this is across all of their games in spring. But it's a bit of a gauntlet that they're trying to broaden their horizons and get that ban back, see if they can survive it.
Yeah, and they were hovering the Gnar. That would have been interesting to see them just blind pick it. They go for the Naafiri instead, as it was not Rumble priority for Shopify Rebellion. Instead, it was the Taliyah locked in. Very defensive pick there in the mid lane. Pairs with a lot of different junglers right now. And nope, not going to be the Rumble. River was just playing around with us. It is Gwen locked in, presumably for Sniper. One of the only AP champions that he actually has piloted this year.
Yeah, but it really fits his style to me. Sniper is the type of player who needs to be on a attacking damage dealer. So any kit that fits that archetype, I feel like he should be fairly comfortable with. You can read down the champions he's played this split. Gnar, Jace, Riven, Aatrox, Gwen, Camille, they all fit that archetype. And then in terms of dealing magic damage, it's kind of a must if they're going to be locking in Naafiri, who's a strictly physical damage jungler, to have the right damage spread on their team. So it makes sense why they would just end up blind picking that, because it's kind of the only thing that fits that slot since he's not a Rumble player.
Jen, I got to bring the attention to that sign right there. I believe we had 100% pick rate for sign champions last series.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were picking things like the Lilia. There was one other sign.
I was
Will we get the Shungle? It was
Shen.
Shen Jungle, yeah.
Shungle. Another Shungle. Well,
that's what Ezreal calls it, at least.
Not this game.
Okay.
Pantheon could be a flex pick for what it's worth. Seos has played it once this split on support. The Rumble is locked in. It's not going to be banned in the 4-5, so we'll have Rumble, Gwen up top. Really interested to see how Sniper deals with Rumble now. It'll be his first stage game against Rumble all year.
And like we had said, it had been 100% ban rate, so maybe a bit of disrespect. Maybe it's Sniper showing that he has improved, that he's grown as a player. They don't need to ban that away. Either way, that's a damage spread that we were looking for with the Gwen AP top lane, AP mid laner of the Viktor to go along with that Naafiri.
Yeah, so I feel a little weird about that Viktor pick at the moment. Maybe Quid just likes the matchup against the Taliyah, because I would expect when they're playing the Naafiri that they want to be really up-tempo, push lanes, invade, and Viktor is much more of a scaling insurance champion, so I'm going to be curious to see how River navigates his Naafiri when he probably won't have a bunch of pressure in the mid lane with Quid.
Yeah, I imagine that picking something with priority bot lane should be the next priority for them. They'll get counterpick for ideally support here. Eyla does like to go for that counterpick occasionally, but it's going to be the Lucian banned out, the Kalista banned out. So now both of these teams get a heavily focus on the AD carry or support champ pool in the second phase of bans.
Yeah, it depends how much these teams want to try and play to tendencies, because Bvoy, generally speaking, if Ezreal's up, he picks Ezreal. So I wonder if 100 Thieves is going to ban that just to get him off comfort, or just say, okay, we'll let you have Ezreal because it controls the game for us a little bit. Because so far the bans have just been all about bot lane push with the Lucian and Kalista bans.
But the Alistar ban as well. Crazy that we live in a world where you can just blind pick Alistar and it still works for the comp. Because they do want some kind of primary engage. Right now, Shopify Rebellion only have the Pantheon, which can work, Taliyah Flick can work, but they would like something that's a little more direct, something like the Alistar, like a Nautilus, like a Rel. So I'm expecting Seos to pilot that, and he's played almost exclusively those engaged supports, things like Leona, Alistar, Rakan, Nautilus, the like.
Yeah, FBI, I think, would smartly take away the Ezreal here. Otherwise, I would see Ezreal Leona just locked in straight away for Shopify would be what I expect. Let's see what FBI ends up. I mean, Ziggs would be completely troll with the double AP already in the Soul Rings, but Jhin is okay with the Naafiri Gwen because it's two champions that dive in really far, and a lot of times it's hard for an AD carry to follow up on that, but because of Jin's absurd range, it definitely helps add utility to the team comp.
Now, will Bvoy go for that Ezreal? It's by far his most played this split, and the way Seos likes to play, always at the hip of Contractz, following around the jungler, it makes sense for Bvoy to play something like the Ezreal. Yeah, Seos can engage, he can have that range, he can also just stay in lane, let Seos get out of there. So, yet again, we have Bvoy locking in Ezreal.
I mean, Seos has got 5 Leona games. He has played nothing but engaged supports. Ends up going with the Nautilus here. Maybe it's because of the Naafiri. I'm not 100% sure how the Naafiri on target ability would work with the Nautilus R. I believe it would still give the knockup, but a lot of the role that you play in the game with Nautilus and Leona is just going to be the same shell of a character. Yeah,
and I think Eyla's going to have to answer in kind. Typically, counter support means that you can go for like disengage if they lock in that, but they also need their own engage. They don't have a big go tool, so instead it's going to be Leona for Eyla instead of Seos.
Yep, just trading engaged supports at the end there. Eyla keeping a very diverse champion pool so far this split. So I'm looking at 100 Thieves composition overall. There's a lot of stuff they want to do through Sniper. He picked the Gwen early. They picked the Naafiri very early. They want to play, I think, around those two. And then everyone else's utility and scaling on their team comp. And when I look at Shopify Rebellion, my eyes go to Palafox's Taliyah. Because that's the pick that seems, Taliyah individually seems like one of the most broken mid laners of this entire split.
Yes.
It's Palafox's most played, but Palafox has also been their worst performer, so he needs to have a good game for that team composition to work.
Having talked with some of the mid laners in the league, though, there was kind of this rumor going around, though, that Taliyah's only broken in the hands of the top 4 teams. The bottom 4 teams don't know how to play Taliyah quite as well, so this is Palafox going to need to step up because it does take some team coordination, using the wall at the right time, using that Unraveled Earth at the right time to stop the opponent's engages, and actually saving your team. Fairly short-range champion, but still can do it. But non-subscribers, we'll see you in 30 seconds. Everybody else, we're getting ready for Shopify Rebellion versus 100 Thieves. The Riot Games Arena was making some noise right there. They're ready to get into this best-of-3 series. Shopify Rebellion, a win means that their playoff or upper bracket playoff dreams are still alive. 100 Thieves looking to get that top bracket locked in for them.
They absolutely are. Let's see if Shopify can end their loss streak. We already have a little bit of poking around the river as we're loading into the game. That's going to not result in anything large, but just to catch people up, River was trying to get a little bit of deep vision. He got poked back. He ends up having to place that defensive ward on his recall, and this is something that has been really important, especially against stuff like Pantheon Jungle, who will only get an advantage on the Naafiri if he can either counter jungle or know where the Naafiri is. So preventing 100 Thieves from getting any deep vision is very beneficial for Contractz. But on the same coin, they don't exactly know where River started either because they weren't confident enough to push through for vision.
Yeah, they didn't get any of their own deep wards. It was shallow wards defensively for each of them.
Palafox just did it. He managed to push late for a ward, but Quid did exactly the same thing, so now they see each other.
All right, junglers will have information of each other's starts. Now, which one would you say that favors? Because you're just saying if Contractz can invade and get up in Naafiri's face, maybe that's better, but now it's going to be easier for River to track that.
For sure. To me, when you're on the faster farming jungle, you always want more control, so if both junglers know where both junglers are, it is advantage to the Naafiri.
All right, well, let's see if River's able to play with that advantage. You had also highlighted Palafox early on there. He's getting the early shove versus the Viktor right now. And I'm looking at the other lanes to see where priority is going to be, because when I saw the Naafiri with the Gwen, with the Viktor, I was looking for advantage on the bot side. They do have the immediate shove down here. FBI and Eyla will hit level 2 a little bit faster.
Yeah, you never know how aggressive these guys are going to be willing to get. Level 2 should be hit by 100 Thieves. You can see over on the right side here, but Bvoy and Seos are just very respectful of that. Bvoy, as we said, has the most Ezreal games, and that's a turret. That's a turret, Eyla. Be careful.
Yeah, takes a little bit of damage. It hits level 2 first, gets the aftershock, so it didn't actually take that much from the turret, thankfully, but FBI poking heavily. Also, one to him. Okay, all right. 100 Thieves really playing the line right there. That's what we call that one.
Yeah, and we just need to see how this new patch ends up manifesting in-game, because the complaint about 5-minute grubs is that it limited jungle creativity because there were so many objectives. You just had to full clear a whole bunch, swap around 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and then fight grubs. And that now that that's removed, maybe we'll end up seeing more. But we were watching that Team Liquid C9 game 1, and it just meant that they farmed until 8 minutes. And then they swapped and went for the grubs. So we will see if Contractz or River make anything happen early, because they are two of the most creative junglers in the league.
Great hat from that fan in the audience right there. But I'm happy you bring up that fact that Contractz is one of the players that even before the change, actually, as there's some trade bots, that shouldn't lead to any kills either way. Contractz is one of those junglers that would go for the early ganks regardless. And so far on the Pantheon, something that in my opinion can look for early action if you have the right lane set up for it, has just been opting for that full clear yet again. We see both junglers just doing opposite starts and ending up on the opposite sides of the Scuttle Crab spawn. Yeah, both junglers, 7 camp, clear so far. There are not great ganks available. Contractz is getting this deep ward. He was wondering if River, I mean, he knows this isn't respawning immediately. He's trying to get a cheeky Raptor counter jungle in. Yeah, this is interesting. And Palafox is getting a heavy trade onto Quid right now, so they should have advantage right now. River will catch Contractz at the Raptors. Contractz can stick around. Quid's gonna have to back and TP in, but Contractz, it's like, I don't know if they really want to go for this. Yeah, smite from River. Secures that. Contractz cannot get it. Walks away frustrated. River laughing. Yeah, I mean, small thing there. When you do the Raptor first start, it means your Raptors will be spawning faster. Contractz didn't do the Raptor start. He did a red start, so his Raptors are on a later cooldown. So essentially, he's trying to cheat River right there out of Raptors, but then when he failed, it doesn't actually cost him that much, because you can see his Krugs are what's spawning on the bottom side. He's going to be pathing up. It costs him in actual time, but it won't cost him a huge amount of experience. Sure. But Palafox really didn't seem like on the same page right there. Did not want to walk up, even though Quid had to back and TP in. Palafox had gotten that earlier reset for the tier. Means that no action early game for Shopify Rebellion. Instead, we're going to have another little snoozer here. This is where the grubs would be spawning, but or would be on the Rift already. But Dragon's now up. Maybe that's the magnet to cause action. I mean, you can see Quid with the defensive build already with a null magic early on Viktor, so he's just looking to delay this out. River's going to be trying to go for the enemy Raptors now, pay Contractz back for his little invader, Ruski. And he's got Eyla behind him, so with the benefit of the support, Seoul's going to be a little later. They're trying to lock down Contractz. Big damage to start off, but not enough to threaten a kill. Contractz will walk away half health. Yeah, Quid came over as well as his lane got shoved in, so Quid has to go back and catch that wave. You would think that maybe there's a dragon timing here, but not quite, I think, with how much River invested and how he wants to keep his camps not alive for too long, so he can keep over-leveling the Pantheon. That'll be how Naafiri wins this matchup against Pantheon. Kind of like we saw this exact matchup in Game 1 today. True. With Blabber and Umpty. Blabber just continued to farm against Umpty's Pantheon, and as long as the Pantheon wasn't getting off successful ganks, it was a little inevitable that the Naafiri would end up being stronger. So it is more on 100 Thieves here to just keep farming, and it's on Contractz to try and make things happen. He's still looking for that level 6. Should be able to get it well before the grubs spawn, but no focus on that dragon yet from River. They did have that priority in the bottom lane to play around. Now he's actually in that bottom river. Let's see maybe if he goes for it here. I mean, it's a really good timing for him to think about Drake. He will lose his Raptors for this. Contractz is already seeding that. He's got a control ward in. He's taking his Raptors, and instead River's looking for a play. Interesting. Not level 6 yet. Sees the control ward in the Tri-Brush, just hovering around to make sure that they can get that lane in. Makes me think that he does not realize Contractz is on the top side. But Contractz will take away the Raptors, and now, I mean, the buff is spawning soon. Krugs as well. Contractz is actually going to get a lot of counter jungling done here, and River does not have the same camps to take away. Yeah, you'd want Contractz to be able to make a play after this, but River really just, he's almost like he's hoping to run into Pantheon, but now he decides, okay, he's definitely not here, time to start Drake. And now it's on Sniper to play properly defensively, because he will be vulnerable for a play. You can see how he hasn't actually taken much pokes since teleporting back to lane, so Sniper's doing a good job here, not trying to solo kill Fudge and just playing weak side properly. Dodging out on that damage. Fudge has the equalizer, but they're not going to go for the dive under turret. Hard to actually burst down that Camille, especially with exhaust taken by Sniper. So no flash available, but hey, if you're playing weak side and you're just going to be under your turret early game, that's totally fine. River will eventually get the dragon. So objective picked up now for 100 Thieves.
Risky invade here.
Contractz actually goes towards the bottom camps. Yeah, River is on the buff right now. Level 6, Contractz as well.
He's doing this without his bottom lane. His bottom lane reset.
He's going to look to jump over the wall, but he's going to jump straight into Seoul and Bvoy if they want to collapse.
Okay,
but nope, they're not going to go for the trap. River will get out.
He will get out, but Pantheon will have the tempo advantage off of this. River still hasn't reset after the Drake. Contractz essentially got a leash on his red buff.
Yeah.
And aside from losing the Drake, is going to be fairly comfortable for this upcoming fight that we will probably see at the Rift Herald. And just to update on what's happened here, Sniper is in the bottom lane. Palafox's teleport is going to be up before his, so Shopify would be able to move first, and they're going for
play in the mid lane instead. Gravity Wall goes down, flash out of Quid. Stuns up Seoul over the turn, stuns up Contractz as well. Big damage from Quid onto the jungler and support, and gets away with his life. Quid absorbs the play.
And that's the Mercury Treads in action. Look at that incredibly defensive build by Quid, but if he didn't build that exact item, he's probably dead in the CC chain. And he needs that because the Pantheon Taliyah combo used to be a one-shot combo when Taliyah did more damage, but it's still an extremely effective combo when you can put them in mid-jungle. And since that turn was spent by Contractz and Seoul to three-man gank mid, it will mean an uncontested grub for River and 100 Thieves.
Yeah, 100 Thieves benefiting from more inaction here. Oftentimes a team that makes the first play that doesn't go right means that you give a window to the other team to make a play like this uncontested. Fudge will walk up here, but River's already gotten two, has smite, gets it, jumps out. That's all 3 grubs over to 100 Thieves, plus the earlier dragon. So they are on track to get that early, objective feat picked up.
Yep. 2 objectives towards feat of monster slaying.
Yeah, we still haven't named that one officially,
Feat of monster slaying. No,
is that it?
Feat of monster slaying,
Feat of monster slaying, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And I know feat of warfare, and then the other one is just I don't know. Okay. It's like feat of first turret. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Feat of
Someone probably knows. Please tweet me.
Feat of brick.
I'm close to knowing all 3. The patch has only been out for 4 months, so please correct me.
I guess the term monster is just a little subjective for me. So, dragons are kind of cool, right?
What are the other monsters?
Well, I think grubs are monsters for sure.
Okay. Harold, what's ambiguous about this?
Well, dragons are like kind of cool, right?
They're not monsters?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd put them in that category.
You're losing me.
I put them in like the animal category.
I feel like you're complaining for the sake of complaining.
Yeah, you're just trying to make conversation here, Jatt. But as we get back into the game, the point is 100 Thieves are closer to picking that one up. The feat of monster slaying. There we go. But other than that, very slow game here. Now, this isn't what I expect from Shopify Rebellion. A lot of times with the Shopify games, Jatt, I've been conditioned for high-action early games. Where are the kills? Where's the aggression?
They're coming.
Yeah?
Just give it a minute.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
I've been told by our producers it is actually called Feat of First Turret.
It is Feat of First Turret.
So we have them all. It's Feat of Monster Slaying, Feat of Warfare, and Feat of First Turret.
That just doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't have a good ring.
Yeah. We'll have to crowdsource the audience here to see if there's a better one. Maybe Twitch chat can help us out with that. We'll just get a community vote, but we have Shopify with multiple members. Bot side, Seoul and Eyla are both hovering around their mid laners, just in case anybody makes the play. Eyla backing off now means that Seoul will walk up to clear that vision, but Dragon's not going to be up for another minute and a half, so I don't expect a hard force right now.
Definitely not. I mean, Quid's build is just so slow. Not only did he rush Mercury Treads, he took the detour for Darksteel, and he's building towards a Catalyst. Ooh, River here to defend a dive. I mean, 100 Thieves is playing full defense, and it's interesting because the weak side Sniper has been properly respectful, but that also has taken away any edge or solo kill look he'd go for, as he might go for a fight here.
Seoul could be in trouble. Instead, it's actually Grand Starfall from Contractz trying to get damage onto Quid. Again, kind of tanky right now. Do they have the damage to kill him? He goes down. First blood to Contractz. Straight up for Palafox. Contractz on the Pantheon. Now try to trade back onto River. Seoul's locking down Eyla. River just doesn't have enough in the tank. That's a double kill to Contractz as the curtain's been called. Oh, but the dredge line cancels it out. Seoul stopping FBI's ultimate. That's 2 on the board for Shopify Rebellion.
That was such an interesting re-engage there as 100 Thieves was just kind of lazily playing defense. It looked like the 3-man dive had been called off, but then Contractz just walked out of Fog of War and ulted in. He never left, but he had so much damage with getting the extra cycle of his Q there that he was able to really win that fight in the later stages.
That's when the Kangle goes right, everybody.
Yeah, Pantheon, so you've been playing a lot of Pantheon. When we get into this replay, tell us if Contractz did it exactly right.
So it's all about the combo to get maximum damage, but when you have somebody like Palafox there, that obviously helps out. So yeah, you're right.
Walk us through Contract's Kangle here.
So well, usually the Kangle's a bad thing, I suppose. But here we go.
The angle.
So Quid in the brush right now. drops the ward down, goes in, clean combo. Oh, but we're back to live, actually. We don't get to analyze that one any longer, as Eyla might just be caught out, but the gravity well from Quid buys a lot of time. Still kill over to Contractz. Shopify Rebellion claim the feat of warfare, and they're going to look to scrap at the Dragon. 100 Thieves have 3 members pretty healthy here. Palafox will push the mid wave, but River, yeah, he doesn't want to hard commit to it. They control the banana bush.
They're in pretty good shape. Seos has to be a little bit careful because of his low health, but Shopify is a stronger team, I think.
FBI going in and just gets punished for it. That was a flash forward, I believe, and he goes down. River trying to equalize, get 1 out of Contractz. That's a 1-for-1 so far, but Bvoy yet again. Oh, but River with a double kill, as Quid just doesn't quite have enough damage with the help of Eyla. That will be enough. Now Quid gets it. 100 Thieves turn the play.
That might be what pulls 100 Thieves ahead in this game. We're going to watch the start of this fight one more time. And my concern with this 100 Thieves comp is that the Viktor is so weak early, especially with his build. And it looks like this fight is going to start well for them. But as Contractz jumps in over the Taliyah rocks to try and just one-shot, how does this get turned around? River ends up getting the reset, pops the double kill. Palafox misses his seismic shove there on Quid that allows him to walk it off before Eyla arrives and closes the deal onto Bvoy. Bit of an overchase there at the end by Bvoy. And to me, that is just 100 Thieves out-handsing Shopify a little bit.
That felt like one of those moments that Bvoy could have been the hero, but instead, slight misplays. River's able to get in, get the resets, get a double kill, and now a completed item here on the Naafiri. About halfway to that second item. Big spike for this champion. Now Shopify Rebellion maybe looking at FBI down here. They have Contractz, and again, the ultimate's available. They could just look for the dive. No flash, no barrier.
Yeah, Summoner list. Ghostblade Swifties. He's a quick boy, but
not going to do it. He's able to clear the wave too fast. Dragon's going to be the name of the game now, though. 100 Thieves will start it up yet again, and Shopify Rebellion, I don't know if they're going to walk up and contest this.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Contractz, I don't believe, has his ultimate just yet that he'd want to fly in with, and they don't have any river control, so just danger zone.
Oh, flash over the wall from Eyla. Chain CC. Where you going, Palafox? Answers nowhere. Grand Circle onto FBI, though. Still no summoner spells. Contractz takes him out as River's locked down by Seos. Flashes away to safety, but Fudge has joined up with the rest of Shopify Rebellion, and now River with the knockup will make it out. Quid, gravity well yet again stopping Fudge, but 100 Thieves cannot go for the Dragon anymore. Shopify Rebellion strike back.
I mean, they lose the battle, but if 100 Thieves probably wins the war because they just got the feat of first turret to secure their overall feat of strength, and they will when they get another objective, so that's still on the table, but
sure,
they get it's 1-1 now. Basically, last week, Sniper was teleporting into every single play, even if it had been lost. The start of this was Palafox literally getting one shot, but multiple ults used, and then Bvoy gets a lot of damage onto FBI as Contractz ults in, so a nice counterattack by Shopify with the teleport coming in on top of it. I do like the proactivity that I'm seeing from Shopify. If that one Dragon fight earlier had gone a little bit more in their favor, I feel like they'd be running away with this game.
Quid reacted to something there. Not quite sure what, but ooh, Contractz fighting for his own buff, will secure it, I believe. Actually, maybe not, as Seos has not picked up that blue buff right there, but either way, River now onto the Herald. 100 Thieves do have multiple members around here. Sniper has TP. Fudge, it's still on cooldown for a few more seconds, I believe, if my screen is right. So that means that, yep, no contest. And now, 100 Thieves with this third objective picked up. There we go. Boom. Rift Herald secured, and that will be the feats of Monster Slain.
Yep, golf claps all around.
Yep.
From Riot Games Arena. Quid is beginning to become online right now, which will be a big thing to track, because the awkward stage of this game where Naafiri is trying to run around and make things happen when your Viktor has little damage and little pressure is over. So now I think River can play with a little bit more confidence, and Shojin is completed, so the 2-item power spike of Naafiri is here.
And I gotta say, oh, actually, Contractz looking for a play right now onto Sniper. Damage to start it off, still has that exhaust, and is just fine. Contractz is trying to make plays happen, because yes, you're right that Quid's coming online right now with this build, and Contractz, as much as I love Pantheon, it does fall off the later the game goes. So 4-1 and 2, Contractz is having a fantastic start, but you still want to make action happen. And speaking of Contractz, I actually wanted to highlight him a little bit as a player. Not everyone's aware of how long he's been playing in the league for and how many teams he's actually played for. All the way back to 2017 when he went to, World's semifinals on Cloud9, then the Golden Guardians era. He played on 100 Thieves for a short period of time, Academy, and then also main roster before making his way back to pro play. So Contractz, I mean, he's been around for quite a while. I love to see players like him have performances like this because he's got a lot of experience against River specifically.
Yeah, it's such a fun matchup to watch as the fight's happening bot lane.
Ooh, big damage, locked up, taken down. Eyla's out of there. Contractz making another play happen. 5-1-2 on the Pantheon.
Palafox teleports in at the end, which actually means mid lane is unprotected.
Bvoy's jumping away, but curtain call, and River's just diving under the turret. That's flash out of Bvoy, but he's out of there. River with the kill credit. Palafox jumps in with a Weaver's Wall, but River escapes. Clean plays from 100 Thieves to make a pick in the mid lane. Maybe more. No, Seoul should be fine.
Yeah, this is so close. I mean, this game has been very back and forth. That was a good play by Shopify, followed by an overcommit by Palafox, and now Contractz is looking for more plays. He would have Taliyah behind him, but just ends up pushing right to the jungle.
Yeah. Not going to commit to it. I mean, you can try and go for the flash, but there's just no way that you have enough damage on your own, so not going to commit to it. Yeah, it's been back and forth here, Jatt. Both of these teams just slugging it out here. Feats of Warfare picked up by 100 Thieves means that they are in the lead right now, but Dragons are dead even. Gold is close to even. It's not even 1,000 gold advantage for 100 Thieves, so I'd say Shopify Rebellion, this isn't the cleanest early game we've seen from them, but it's still looking like a decent winnable game from their perspective.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot of Shopify games we've seen so far where they feel really close to being able to win as Sniper goes for
There's
Fudge
the exhaust,
here.
River's nearby, and Fudge is still just zooming out of there. Through the exhaust and everything. I think he's going to get the safety. Contractz nearby. River cannot chase, so yeah, River spending a lot of time up there. Sniper using the summoner spells. Fudge gets out.
Yeah, Fudge much improved from last week, but I want to look at some of the gold graphs from Shopify so far this split, where these are not necessarily the gold graphs you would see in a winning game, but we'll have to be able to get those up in a little bit as this game is very close, and Shopify has just been so close so many times.
So close so many times. Now they're against 100 Thieves, and again, a reminder that if Shopify lose this series, they will be 0-3 in series scores overall. So a lot on the line here. They want to give themselves at least a chance of dodging that lower bracket in the playoffs. But 5 seconds here. Big objective spawning. Otacon has spawned, which now triggers a special Uber Eats offer that you can check out in chat or the Twitch extension. Make sure to check that out, everybody. And Dragon also up in 5 seconds, so a lot of action could be happening on this bot side of the river.
And with this Drake coming up soon, we'll see how 100 Thieves is going to make the setup. I'm looking at 2-item power spikes on both FBI and River, and they have the original setup, so it'll be very difficult for Shopify to brute force their way into this one.
100 Thieves control all the vision, but they don't control the backline vision. There's actually a lot of flanking wards that Shopify Rebellion could look at. Fudge has teleport, Palafox does not. But the rest of the team just is not set up to actually capitalize on that. 100 Thieves, yeah, just kind of brute forcing their way in, and despite Shopify Rebellion doing some homework, not able to catch it. So another objective, but here's that gold graph you were talking about, Jatt.
It's closer than you think. I mean, look at it 20 minutes, how close all those games are that all ended up in defeat. And we might be seeing the same story here if they can't defend this Otacon, because not only did the Drake go over, they're still not in position. If 100 Thieves can just clean both these objectives, this is such a long turn. Shopify must fight this.
We're around that moment where the wheels fall off for Shopify Rebellion, as it's instead Palafox engaged by Eyla.
Does he have friends, though?
No damage following up right now. Now Sniper comes in, flash out from Palafox, trying to get the safety, but over the wall goes River, trying to dive onto the backline. What are we doing? River goes way too far forward. Will at least get the kill through the bleed. 1-for-1, losing your jungler for the mid laner.
And it did stop the Otacon, so Shopify at least averted the big disaster. And you could see Eyla was just locked in. He'd already picked Palafox a couple times this game. He's just going for another one.
It's but personal Jhin, at this point.
Jhin and Naafiri were so far away that play just didn't have time to work properly. So his team is still on Otacon. When he goes for that Leona ulti, Fudge is closer than his nearest teammate. So a very ambitious look there from Eyla. You could tell Eyla was saying, we're going to peel off of Otacon, whereas the people hitting Otacon were thinking, maybe we can actually finish it.
Right? I mean, they even just saw the teleport come in from Fudge right there. So even if you just back off of Otacon and get the teleport, that still feels good for 100 Thieves, but Because they lose River, they cannot go back onto it. So back to a state of pretty even game state. It's barely a gold lead for 100 Thieves right now. It's only one Dragon in the lead plus the feats of strength. I'd say, when I look at these comps too, it's always hard to immediately identify the scaling advantage. I like the Naafiri into the Pantheon much more, so that's what I want to focus on there. I feel like River is in a very comfortable position right now.
Yeah, I think so, and it's going to be a little bit of a hands check. I just look at Quid, though. Former MVP, maybe best player in the game. He's online at this stage. Level 13 Viktor, 2 core items. He's only going to be getting stronger, and it's very difficult for Shopify to kill him.
Yeah.
He has the Mercury Treads. He can walk off the majority of the engages. The Locket from Leona will be able to help him live. He's going to have 3,000 or 4,000 health by the time this game is over with. And his health AP items keep coming in. So he's the one that I look to really carry team fights, and he's the one that Shopify is going to have to find a way to either fight away from or actually kill in a team fight.
And at this point, he's about 30 seconds away from that Roa fully stacking. He's going to get a level up. Going to have a little more HP and health, and it looks like they're going to start it up yet again. Seos does spot this out. Now, still no teleport on Fudge, but he's on the bottom side, so he's actually nearby. Palafox has Weaver's Wall and teleport. 100 Thieves, they're spotted on the objective. Do they want to commit? Taking that debuff, the armor shred, the magic resist shred, makes the fight afterwards very difficult, but getting the Otacon is a huge buff right now. Flash forward from Seos.
Trying to get
Throws out the ultimate onto Quid, and now in comes Contractz, but now teleport deep. That's going to be Sniper going into everybody. Seos is already down, and now Sniper can continue the chase. Curtain call. Contractz throws up the shield. Aegis Assault trying to keep himself alive as he's logging out Quid, but again, the damage is just coming through. Locked down Quid with the kill. Cred has Eyla on the flank, gifting a kill over to Shopify Rebellion. 1 for 2 in favor of the Thieves.
I love watching Otacon in these fights with what he ends up getting himself wrapped up in. He was shredding 100 Thieves that kind of probably stopped them from backing Eyla up at the end of this fight. But to get back to the beginning of this fight, 100 Thieves is just using this Otacon as a fight creator.
Yeah.
And they're doing their best to avoid the shred for when the fight starts. So in that fight in particular, it was pretty much just River who had the debuff on him. Nobody else did. Yep. So when Shopify ended up going for Quid, he flashed over the wall, and that was the engage that they used. So like, look at this. River's almost just soloing it, using the dogs to tank a little bit and not getting chunked. So it's not the normal weakness that a team would have when they started Otacon, which means this turns into a bad engage because it's not a weakened team that Shopify is engaging in on. On the backside of this fight, though, you can see Eyla. Let's see what he ends up getting himself caught up in. Otacon rolls back to Sniper, and Palafox ends up getting a pick onto Eyla there. So nice job by Palafox on the backside.
Yeah, Eyla a little caught off from the rest of the team, but still, I think a win for 100 Thieves. They don't get the Otacon after the fact, though. As they're back to live, the objective is still on the Rift. Maybe they get a pick on the Seos. Ooh, throws the Dredge Line back in. Solar Flare misses. Seos walks out.
Seos does not pick himself, but it was close. He almost ulted himself into the team, but Eyla has now been down the Leona ult, which makes Shopify a little bit more comfortable. I love this vision toggle by the observers to show how little information Shopify actually has and how dangerous it is for them to walk into this Drake.
And this is a lot of times what I see from Shopify Rebellion. In game states like this, they just group up. That is the name of the game. All 5 members get together. No one's pushing top. We have 2 teleports up. We're not interested in that one. We're just going to force our way into the banana brush. Seos taking a lot of damage again. Curtain call. Should be able to block a lot of that damage. Shopify Rebellion's jungler keeping Seos fine. Oh, no, the 4-shot does hit. Nautilus very low now. Weaver's Wall used. 100 Thieves still in fine position right now, so Palafox not really stopping anything with that one, and 100 Thieves will just get the dragon.
Yeah, Shopify going to try and counter by getting this mid-turret. They likely will, but they got to be a bit careful of Eyla flying in there. Putting themselves on a soul point, though, 100 Thieves is going to be happy with this overall exchange.
Yeah, Infernal Soul as well. Very powerful one to pick up here for somebody like Naafiri, who just wants to jump in and one-shot people. You like Sniper as well in that side lane. It's going to be even harder to deal with. And here we go again. River is just soloing this Otacon. Yeah.
No one has touched that top wave in like 5 minutes.
I don't think it even exists in these top laners' minds, solo laners' minds, anybody's minds. It's all about the objectives. It's all about the Otacon. Shopify Rebellion going in yet again. Seos dredge lines the wall a 3rd time here. Not punished immediately this time. Still alive. 100 Thieves taking a lot of debuffs there. Flash away from Fudge. Now turns back around. Contractz jumping into the Otacon pit. River there. But Otacon's getting low. Who's going to get it? It's Contractz! Shopify Rebellion with the steal as 100 Thieves. They can't chase down. They're not going to find anything for that. Contractz can just run away. Heist successful, but it's the Rebels that get it this time.
It's not a Baron steal, but it's an Otacon steal. Contractz, the master of taking things away from underneath the enemy's nose. And that was River clearly just running the same play over and over again. But I think the difference here is 100 Thieves ended up actually getting caught in the pit this time, so they weren't that confident in the overall fight, had to pull off, and that's what allowed Contractz to go. Because the start of this was great. Sniper immuning the Nautilus hook, so Seos hooked the wall, seemed great, but ever 100 Thieves tries to walk through, the Otacon shreds them a good bit, and then Contractz' ultimate kind of zones River away, and since Otacon never fully reset, don't mind if I do, Contractz just secures it with the Q smite.
And you gotta say, yeah, that Q, the empowered Q smite combo. Golden Glue thinking, okay, what happened there? The empowered Q plus smite, you can't hold that against River. You're not going to be able to out-smite that. It's just so much damage from the Pantheon. Contractz knowing the limits of the champion and playing that one very well here. Now Otacon picked up, and the gold getting a little more in 100 Thieves' favor, but it still feels like a pretty dead even game, all things considered.
It does. I do feel like Quid is still a little bit inevitable, but he's gone for a very defensive build.
Yeah.
So not only does he have 2 big health items with the Roa and the Leandries, Seeker's Arm Guard, and the upgraded Mercury Treads into the Chain Lance Crushers. So he's got massive amounts of MR, big MR shield, 2,923 health at this stage of the game. But he's actually not doing that much damage yet.
Yeah, half his gold spent is on defensive stats, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Health and resistances, but you're saying it inevitable. He will get to that point.
Yeah.
I imagine the death cap will be somewhere in this build, and still 10 stacks on the Dark Seal will help.
And I think because they have Soul Point, he's comfortable in this stage where he's thinking, let's just make sure I don't get one shot. The rest of the team will do well, because if they're diving in onto Quid, Sniper's still a big damage source who's done a decent enough job staying in this game for his 2 core items. So not criticizing Quid's build, just stating where it is in its current level of power.
And it changes the options that 100 Thieves really have available. It's very impressive that they've gotten 3 of the 4 dragons so far, considering the fact that their mid laner is going for a much more scaling defensive build so far. I think a lot of that is credit to River and the Naafiri champion. 3 items completed, a little bit ahead of Contractz right now, as that next dragon's up in 1:40, but Baron's on the table right now, so you always need to keep your vision around this objective in case Shopify want to go for it, find a little pick there. That could have been disastrous, but River is able to jump away.
Yeah, and there's just been so much grouping in this game. I know 100 Thieves typically has been the solo queue team, so to speak, as they might go for a fight in mid here.
Ooh, Sniper's just going to commit with the ultimate. Fudge slowed down, but not taken out. Now Sniper could be in some trouble, taking up a lot of damage himself, but Palafox with a quick back! And it's Bvoy with the shutdown, but Quid on a killing spree will claim Seos. 1-for-1 support for top laner.
It almost looks like Sniper got a little bored there. He's like, I'm not split pushing, I'm just hanging out.
Him.
Viktor and Jhin are taking all my farm. I'm going to fight.
I was only there for 2 kills out of the 9 that we've had. Didn't even get an assist on that one, too.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that engage by 100 Thieves, but it ends up working out for them for now. I just...
Oh,
Pantheon flies in.
Yeah, locked down immediately, but I don't think for very long. FBI trying to reposition here. River's now coming in onto Bvoy, but River might not have wanted that one. Shopify Rebellion not going to punish him. Instead, rooted up, and they're taking poke damage from Quid.
Yeah, Quid and FBI are starting to do a lot of damage. This is not the Mosquito Jhin build. This is a Infinity Edge Jhin with a Ghost Blade. So when even now he's doing damage, but at 4 items, he's actually going to start shredding people. When Jhin hits 4 or 5 items, he's a very threatening AD carry. It's not like something that doesn't scale. And
there's nobody really building armor on the side of Shopify Rebellion as well, so you will be doing a lot of damage to these more bruiser and squishy champions.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like where Shopify's window would ideally be, and they just created so few opportunities off of either Rumble Pressure or Taliyah roaming. I think the fact that Palafox getting hooked early,
Eyla has flash available, has to use it very early just to save that health bar because Dragon's up, and now no flash available for it means that Shopify Rebellion will start it up. River's just jumping in, and Dragon's down. Very fast Dragon pickup for Shopify Rebellion, denying the soul, and now they want more. Jumping onto Sniper.
Might be a mistake.
No flash available as he went for that exhaust. That was down 2. Seos caught away from the rest of the team, and he's out of there. River, one flash away. That's 2 kills picked up by the Thieves, making it 3. Bvoy's able to jump away, but Fudge burns down River coming out of the stasis, flashes the wall. He might just get out of there.
Fudge.
100 Thieves trying to chase him, but Fudge will escape.
phase rush at the last second, and a bit of a heist there by Shopify, setting up on the Drake very early, preventing Eyla from making the approach and just bursting it. Surprised they went for the fight afterwards because they'd burned so much to just take the Drake in the first place. But crucially, they do stop.
Look on the right side. Look right side.
We're on Pan. Just kill Pan.
Look, Pantheon. Yeah, I can ult.
Kill Nautilus.
Watch the Fury guys.
Nautilus dead. Rumble on splash.
No flash yet.
Rumble. Careful, Rumble.
I'm dead.
No, it's all you guys. Careful, Fury.
Can you guys go bar?
After. He just
Chase. I'll W in 2.
I think he's gone.
W in 1. Watch.
Ooh, yeah, the equalizer catching River.
I love River. Oh, I'm dead. Just in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, feeling that one right there. But yeah, I mean, again, end of the day, it's Shopify Rebellion denying that Dragon Soul. They were able to get that before the fight even started. So 100 Thieves now going to be delayed on that one. They still have time for Quid to scale. As we come back, what items? Zoni's completed.
I mean, the gold says one thing, but the inventories are saying another to me right now. 100 Thieves, to me, feel very strong. 3 pairs of upgraded Merc Treads for the double AP of the Rumble and the Taliyah. The Pantheon, who's falling off. It's kind of Ezreal, who needs to do the majority of the damage to all these really high health targets, even if they don't have a lot of armor. And he's zoned out of a lot of these fights just with how much dive that 100 Thieves has with the Gwen and the Naafiri. So 100 Thieves not able to close this game out yet. Teamfight still could go wrong if they overdive, but yeah, I'm totally about this starting Baron and drawing in Shopify, since 100 Thieves must feel very strong right now.
They have all this vision plays down, and there's just nothing from Shopify. They cannot see this now. With the far side alteration, they will notice it, but they're going to have to approach into Fog of War. There's a second one that goes down. Baron's getting low, and they still have the
Baron steal, maybe?
Naafiri ability to burst it. Contractz trying to get in there with the Q smite. He might just be able to take it. Contractz with the Baron steal. He just walks up and claims it for himself. The fight afterwards might not go their way, though. The Thieves have the first kill. Contractz gets the objective, but he gives his life for it. Now Fudge got to get out of there, as Seoul fell as well. Fudge trying to escape. Bvoy on the flank right there. Quid goes into the stasis. Fudge has the shield, but Sniper claims the kill. Quid's still alive. The Thieves stand. Only 2 members with Shopify claiming the Baron. But what a steal from Contractz.
The Baron steal god of North America keeps them in this game. But they do lose the fight because they are the weaker team. So watching this one more time, 100 Thieves just do not set up a good line of defense. They let Contractz just walk right in with fully charged Pantheon Q. It's actually the Q that gets it, as they're both trying to smite it at the last second. But then when the fight actually does play it, you can see how Shopify doesn't have the tools here. They're not flanking with Taliyah. They're not comboing with Taliyah Pantheon. The Rumble ults are catching people in choke points. So it does allow Quid and FBI to just free fire on the back end of these fights.
What a play from Contractz, but again, the Thieves are just so strong right now.
I cannot believe into Contractz, I guess.
Yeah, Contractz is the GOAT of Baron steals, as it turns out, as he now ties Xsmithy for the most Baron steals in NA history. Do not contest this guy for the Purple Worm.
I mean, 4.5 minutes, and we could see the record actually be broken here with the way this game has been going. They've tried it twice to go up against Contractz Pantheon. River's been beaten both times by the smites, and it's really what's kept Shopify in this game. They now have Baron buff to try and push that mid lane, and I think 100 Thieves is going to flank him and try and fight.
It was only 2 members, but those 2 members are on the wave right now. Instead, it's Shopify Rebellion looking for the engage onto Eyla, but it's Seos that could get caught out right now. Quid's in a safe position, knocked up, but they're pulling Eyla in. Eyla has to flash defensively. Curtain called. Seos is down. FBI picks that one up as Quid throws out the Chaos Storm. River looking for more on the Fudge. No flash available, but he gets back to the safety of his team, and 100 Thieves will only claim the trade of supports.
Will shut down the Baron push, and now with both supports dead, the Drake is still very important. Who can get the first setup on this? Let's see. Quid and Sniper both have TP. They're going to be teleporting on this bottom wave and approaching through there. I love that angle for them. Shopify might want to start this early as Contractz is coming up with
Contractz has the Grand Starfall. He could look for the flanking ultimate. If you catch somebody like FBI, no flash available. Somebody like Quid does have the flash, is pretty tanky as well. So you're probably going to be looking at Sniper right now. Zoning ultimate, now jumping onto River. uses the Hound's Pursuit to get away right there. Untargetable. A Sniper goes untargetable as well. 100 Thieves just push Shopify away from the Dragon. Equalizer goes down, but not a lot of damage. It's just stopping River. He jumps over the wall. It could come down to another smite fight. Can Contractz get it? Not this time. It's River securing the Dragon Soul as now they throw the ultimate in. River looking for the damage. Can he get the resets? Quid with the kill. River with the resets on Naafiri. And the team fight slaughter for the Thieves. Seoul joins in just to die. It's only Palafox. Weaver's walling away from the fight. The Thieves crush it.
That might end up doing it here. Cannon Wave in the bot lane. 40-second death timers across the board. Quid and River. I mean, River especially just flew into everyone.
Yeah.
Goes untargetable at the most inopportune moments for Shopify and just wrecks them in this fight.
That's only Palafox left alive. No flash available. Curtain call slowing him down. No chance of escape. Ace for FBI. The Baron steal was cool, but winning a game feels a little better. 100 Thieves will go 1-0 in the series.
100 Thieves was inevitable in this game. I gotta shout out the 350 CS for FBI's Jhin. They just outfought them, even if Contractz outsmote them, and they take game one.